Hello everyone, welcome to the library. I am your librarian, Miss Fazzini, and I'm very happy to be talking to you today. I'm going to be going through a very quick PowerPoint, basically walking you through the basics of copyright, its uses to protect intellectual property, and what can happen when copyright is violated. So we first need to talk about what copyright is. So copyright is law that protects original fixed works and basically sets up those limitations for when that work can be legally copied. So when I'm saying original work, that basically means that that is something that a human author has created independently. They are not copying somebody else. It took a bit of creativity to make this. So think of videos, think of articles, stories, songs, all of these different things fall under original works. So these would include text, visuals, audio, and video, both in print and digitally on the internet. When I say that a work is fixed, according to the US Copyright Office, basically that means it has been captured in a sufficiently permanent form so that it can be perceived, reproduced, or communicated for longer than a short time. So writing something down, recording the video, taking the picture, those are capturing that work. So copyright law grants the author these full legal rights to their copyrighted material, so they get to choose how it gets disseminated, how it gets published, performed, etc. It also allows the author to let another person copy or use that work, and the original author will then receive compensation for that reproduction. And then if copyright is infringed or violated, which we will talk about a little bit later, this will allow that author legal rights to pursue legal action. So there is a little bit of difficulty nowadays as technology has become so much easier and faster for things to be copied and reproduced and even just riffed off of. But when something is on the internet, it is still copyright unless it is stated otherwise. So be careful that you are not just assuming that it is free for you to use or copy or screenshot something that you might find on the internet. Things that are not going to fall under copyright law. So maybe you're thinking like, oh no, I created my band and I'm worried that our band name is going to fall under copyright law. Well, you are in luck. So things like titles and names, so names of restaurants, things like that, like the Titanic down here, very punny little restaurant name, those are not going to fall under copyright law. They will not be protected. Short phrases, slogans, familiar symbols, variations in typography, so the typeface, lettering, coloring, and listing of ingredients, listing of contents. So a lot of recipes that you will see on the internet cannot be copyrighted. And it also will not protect ideas, concepts, systems, methods of doing things. So you need to put that idea into a fixed format for it to be protected under copyright. So just having the idea for, a spaceship or something is not going to be protected under copyright, but once you create that product, it can be copyrighted. A lot of these will fall under patent law, but we are focusing on copyright. Patent law is something entirely different. So protection for copyright is the life of the original author and add 70 years to that. So it's a pretty long amount of time. These are for works that are published after 1978, January 1st of 1978. Anything published before that will have copyright protection for 28 years, and then the author, distributor, or publisher can renew that copyright. So something to know, though, is that we are technically all copyright users. When you watch a movie, when you listen to a song, when you watch an episode of television, you're technically using that copyrighted material. However, when you go then to try and reproduce that work, think of somebody, screenshotting a clip from the Spider-Man movie or filming the entire movie on their phone. That is going to violate copyright law. So it is a very serious crime with very serious consequences. And if you're thinking about like covers to songs, the way that artists avoid copyright infringement is that they request permission from the original author to record that song using those lyrics, that chord progression, that melody, etc. Because when you infringe on copyright law, it's going to harm the original creator. That person will lose out on monetary gain when their work is reproduced without their permission. The monetary gain will go toward the person covering the song or, filming the movie. It's taking away from ticket sales of movies and things like that. So I keep saying this word infringement. Infringement is basically violation of copyright law when you use or reproduce a work without permission from the author. When you see someone upload a video to YouTube with a full movie, filmed off of their phone or screenshotted off their computer, whatever, that will be copyright infringement. And they can pursue legal action. Many times it is you just need to take down the video, but whether or not that infringement happens willfully, which you are knowingly copying this person's song and trying to pass it off as your own, or if it happens on accident, both can receive consequences. They don't always receive very serious consequences, but it is possible to get fined. And even if there is willful infringement where you infringe on copyright law to make money off of that, you can get up to 5 years in prison even for that. So there are various ranges of fines here. Innocent copyright infringement tends to be something a little less severe, but when you get into that willful intent, you willfully copied this work, you can get into a lot of trouble. So lighten it up a little bit. Thankfully, we are also copyright owners. So once you create something, once you take a picture, if you write a poem, if you write an article, if you record a song, you are now the author and the owner of that work, and you can register your creations through the U.S. Copyright Office. Another kind of loophole within copyright law is the fair use exception. So this is basically in the classroom, if you're thinking about any time your teacher has shown a video, like an educational video from, I don't know, National Geographic or something like that, you're thinking, well, they're showing me this and, is that copyright? Well, not technically. So to fall under the fair use copyright exception, teachers basically need to consider these 4 basic criteria when they are going to use a work. So if the nature of the work is general, its audience is not predominantly the educational community, that can fall under fair use exception. A lot of times entertainment works are not going to be supported because of the potential impact to the sale of the movie. Also, if there is a nonprofit, bent to the use, the teacher is not trying to make money off of using that clip in class, that's going to fall under the copyright exception here. The third criteria is that they are only using a minimal portion of the total work. They are not showing a clip of the entire movie, they are just showing a clip of it. And then if the teacher does not have any intent to replace the original work, they are just showing it to look at it, to observe it, and infer from it. That will fall under fair use copyright exception. So this would be my big question if I were sitting in your seat. How can I avoid copyright infringement? I don't want to get fined or even go to prison, which you most likely won't, hopefully. One of the best ways to do that is to get permission from the author, especially if you're going to start if you are creating things and putting them on the internet and making that mark on the digital community, it might be a good idea to seek permission from the author if you are, going to record a cover of a song. Another just tidbit about this is that often the distributors or publishers are going to be the way to receive that permission. Authors don't tend to deal with the monetary aspect of copyright often, but you may need to pay a fee to that distributor or publisher for use. Another way to avoid copyright infringement is to look at things that are royalty-free. So basically, when you're paying a fine to get that permission, that's a royalty. There are tons of royalty-free images, sounds, different things that you can use where you do not have to necessarily worry about paying a fee to get that permission. There are often guidelines for using royalty-free media, so just make sure you're paying attention to that. If you need to give credit to the author, which I'll speak on in just a second, you would need to do that. So if you think about like some of the common music that you hear on TikTok and those like running in the background of those videos, that's because TikTok has a large royalty-free audio library collection that they allow their users to put into their videos without having to worry about like paying those royalties to certain artists. Another royalty-free area is the public domain. So the Creative Commons has a lot of images and just different things that you can, different media that you can use and put into your presentations and different things like that, depending on if the work lost its protected copyright status or the author, specifically put it in the public domain. Columbia University Libraries and Cornell University Libraries are a good place to look, but you can also look and just search the Creative Commons. Again, make sure if you need to give credit to the author, you need to follow that guideline, or else you could be subject to copyright infringement again. So like this CC BY 2.0 license requires you to credit the creator. Very simple. And obviously you can also create your own. You can create your own songs, pictures, poems, articles, etc. So big takeaways that I want you to come away with. Don't assume that if it's on the internet, you are able to freely use and copy and post different things. Make sure you're getting that permission from the authors if you need to. Just try not to take risks with intellectual property because it can land you in some bad situations. There are tons of royalty-free collections that you can find media in. So look for those first before you use something that's potentially copyrighted. Follow fair use guidelines if you're completing an academic assignment, and be a creator. Make your mark on our digital world. So here are some of my references. Thank you so much for listening today. I hope this clarifies a little bit more the possible uses and violations that can happen under copyright law. Thank you so much.